Hello, and welcome to this discussion on gaining understanding of the ways Black fatigue diminishes the well-being of Black women leaders in the government contracting industry. My name is Tammy Deane-Alsberry, and this discussion is a component of my dissertation proposal on the same topic. Thank you for your participation on my committee. I am grateful for your input and insights as we delve into this topic. Black fatigue is a phenomenon characterized by persistent race-related stressors such as unfair treatment, perceived discrimination, stereotyping, and insufficient social support. The manifestation of Black fatigue among Black women leaders in the federal contracting industry presents a problem for organizations that depend on their presence to meet the diversity standards required to qualify for contract bid participation. Understanding the factors that contribute to this phenomenon is important because researchers have found that people of color are adversely impacted psychologically and physically when they encounter racism in any form on individual, cultural, or institutional levels. There are also substantial findings that the perception of discrimination, regardless of intent or actuality, is detrimental to the well-being of Black people and is linked to increased instances of depression, anxiety, reduced self-care, and increased rates of substance abuse in Black women specifically. Gaining an understanding of these issues will allow executive leaders the opportunity to reduce the contributory factors to Black fatigue that are present in their organizations, and preserve the physical and psychological health of Black women in leadership. Additionally, by reducing these issues, corporate leaders will also be able to lower recruitment and training costs associated with high turnover among this group, thereby allowing their organizations to maintain the industry's diversity requirements while reaping the benefits of their collective experiences. There is no available data from the Office of Personnel Management that specifically notes the number of Black women leaders employed by government contracting organizations. However, national data reveals that Black women comprise 7.4% of the U.S. population, but only hold 4.4% of leadership positions. And of those leaders, only 1.4% are at the executive level. The notable underrepresentation of Black women in leadership is linked to a broken rung at the first step up managerial opportunity, which is due to bias, exclusion, and insufficient levels of social support. Yet, when Black women do succeed professionally and enter leadership positions, their accomplishments are often mistakenly attributed to affirmative action and chance rather than talent and competency. Therefore, the resulting stress of these factors triggers psychological and physiological issues that reduce the well-being of this demographic. The government contracting industry is a multi-billion dollar industry comprised of thousands of private companies that produce goods and services for government entities. Because the government contracting industry contains organizations of varying sizes, this study will focus on the experiences of Black women leaders from different types of companies, from those meeting the Small Business Administration standard to mid-size and large multinational firms. The participants for this study are Black women leaders who have worked or are currently employed in the government contracting industry. Several networks of potential participants have been identified through the National Society of Black Engineers and the Society for Human Resource Management, as well as through current and former colleagues. These participants are well suited for the study as they represent a diverse range of technical and non-technical roles across various government contract organizations. Interviews will be conducted with managers, directors, and senior managers who have been promoted to mid or senior level leadership within the industry. The recruitment and sampling process will be targeted and purposeful, opposed to a random selection, to secure interviews with 10 to 12 Black women who fulfill the requirements. The conceptual framework for this study explores self-determination theory through the lens of intersectionality. Self-determination theory suggests that people are motivated to develop and change based on three core universal needs: belonging, autonomy, and competence. Intersectionality describes the ways in which the interconnection of systems of inequality based on race, gender, ethnicity, and class, for example, create power dynamics and unique effects on a group, and how those intersections yield differing outcomes based on the specifics of that group. Along with self-determination theory, intersectionality offers a framework for analyzing the impact of Black fatigue on Black female leaders who suffer in the workplace. Accordingly, this study seeks to gain an understanding of how self-determination theory drives Black women leaders to persist in difficult environments. It focuses on the motivators Black women consider when making decisions to stay in their leadership roles while experiencing Black fatigue, and also exploring how the well-being of Black women in leadership is promoted or diminished based on their perceptions of autonomy, belonging, and relatedness. The research questions that will guide this study are: what organizational factors contribute to Black fatigue in Black women? How does Black fatigue impact longevity for Black female leaders in their corporate positions with organizations who support the federal government? And finally, what factors influence Black female leaders' sense of belonging, competency, and autonomy in the workplace? The study will utilize semi-structured interviews to collect data for analysis. Data points will be extracted from the narratives provided by the participants, and these data will be analyzed using the integrative approach of formative and iterative analysis to interpret findings while lending respect to the personal nature of the narratives. This manner of analysis allows insight into phenomena that emerge from an insider perspective opposed to an outsider's view. The interview protocol includes 15 questions, which focus primarily on the participants' experiences as Black women in the government contracting industry. Each interview will take approximately 45 to 60 minutes. The recordings and transcripts of the interviews will be assessed only by the researcher, and a disclaimer will be shared advising that no one affiliated with the University of Southern California or the OCL program will have access to the data collected. Data collected from participants will be analyzed using thematic coding and interpretation of interview responses. Thank you all once again for your participation on my dissertation committee. I am so grateful for the opportunity to tap into your academic genius, and I look forward to your feedback.